Let's just say, Bob, that the Patriots do win as expected against Miami and claim that number 1 seed. Are they healthy enough on both sides of the ball to play like the top seed once we get into January?
Not at the present time. Were the game to be taking place any time earlier than it would take place, which will be either Saturday the 16th, but more likely, I would think they would be a featured game Sunday, the 17th. They would not be favored against anybody that they would play, I don't think. And maybe, well, I shouldn't say that. Houston, sure. But other than that, I think they would be in trouble. But they presumably will have back by that time Edelman, Amendola, Valmer, and McCourty. 4 of them, and that's a big step forward for them. Clearly, Tom Brady's offense, his offensive possibilities have diminished severely since the onslaught of injury. They are nothing like the team that stormed through the league the first 6 or 7 weeks. And certainly, health is more important than location. I don't care. You can read all the stuff you want about history and how many 1 seeds did this and where and blah, 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 blah. Fact is that for the Patriots right now, nothing will transcend health for them. Health is everything.
Bob, you listed off a number of big-time recognizable players they'd love to have back. If you had to pick just one, though, and say that's the one player they have to have when the playoffs begin, who is it?
Edelman, for the most part. Edelman gets separation. Edelman gets you third down. Edelman can make a big play when you need it. He turned into really a premier player. McCourty, but I might say it would depend on the opponent because if defense is more of an issue, McCourty has tied together that secondary very, very well. But I would have to say, I think safely that it would be Edelman.
Bob, can you make the argument that Belichick outsmarted himself in 2 of the 3 losses this year with that Ebner weird onside kick when they're up 14-0 on the Eagles, and then the decision that's been talked about a lot this week on Sunday?
I don't think they're equal. I think that the Eagles one is certainly questionable. I'm amused by the reaction to what happened Sunday, that more people wouldn't look at this intelligently or, with a, take a deep breath now. I'm not talking, I don't know, did you check out the reaction of our good friends, the New York Post and New York Daily News? They have gone so far over the top in putting the entire game on that call and on that decision and ensuing developments when there was so much more. First of all, it was a simple matter. Does Bill Belichick trust, at that moment in time, an offense that had gotten into the end zone once all day, as opposed to a defense which had just stifled the Jets completely after the score became 17-3, and 5 final possessions, the Jets did nothing. And then you've got, I sound like Hubie, and then you've got the best field goal kicker in the league. So your thinking is very, very clear. My defense stops them 3 and out, and I get to the 35-yard line, and I bring out the field goal unit, and we go home with a smile on our face. That is a logical and eminently defensible position. I'm sorry.
So the Jets are the team that took advantage and found a way to win there, Bob. The Patriots are the team you voiced some real concern about the health issues they have. Which one of those 2 AFC East teams, and this is if the Jets beat the Bills this Sunday and they're in the postseason as well, which one do you believe in more in January?
Well, it's funny. I was a member of the I Fear Pittsburgh tribe.
We don't blame you. I think we were there, too.
I really did. For the Patriots particularly, but I just fear Roethlisberger. I have enormous respect for Roethlisberger. Okay. Pittsburgh's situation has changed dramatically. The Jets are a good team. I would not, I think now, the Jets are a good team. They have the 2 receivers setting records. They have Fitzpatrick in the career year. They have unquestionably a tremendous defense up front particularly. Okay, fine. Given all that, however, think about this now. Given all that, and you saw the game and how much they dominated from start to finish, they won in overtime against the Pats JVs. So you've got to figure if the Patriots are healthy, they're better than the Jets. But right now, the way the Patriots are, the state that they're in, if they played again this Sunday, I'd favor the Jets anywhere, New England or anywhere else right now. The Jets are good. They may be heard from. They have a profile of teams that we've seen in the past come out of the pack and get right to the Super Bowl. I don't think there's any question that they're capable of doing that if everything falls in the right place. But absolutely right now. The team I don't personally have a handle on, and so I always have to temper this, is Kansas City. They're doing it. They won 9 in a row. I know the defense is very good. I know Smith doesn't make mistakes, and yet I don't know how to slot them into all this. Do you?
You know what? It's a team that every step of the way, Bob, you're like, they're okay, but eventually they'll go away, and they haven't gone away, and people have to deal with them.
Yeah, so I guess the tension must be paid. The Cincinnati, and the fact is that historically they shrink up in a little ball and wee all over themselves against the Patriots. So right now, I mean, nobody up here is taking them seriously. I can promise you that.
You know, Bob, I've seen some of it on social media. I'm curious how you feel. I know that there are some Patriots fans that feel like Peyton Manning and this whole HGH thing is getting a free pass from the media while Brady was vilified for the Deflategate thing.
Yeah, they are, and of course that's predictable. This is hometown parochialism on the part of the very defensive Patriot fans who were put on the defensive back in 2007 by the actions of their coach. And forever. And I wrote that at the time, and I said, look, this is the first day of the rest of your lives, Patriots fans. Deal with it. You are going to be on the defensive forever. You will always be labeled as your team as cheaters and from Spygate. Deal with it. Well, when Deflategate became the new currency, of course that Brady was going to take a beating because he's a Patriot. And it wasn't all about Brady. It was all about Belichick, even though he wasn't even directly involved. It's a way to get to Belichick. Brady was collateral damage in this whole thing. Okay. Peyton Manning has no track record. He's got nothing but amusing commercials. I mean, he's got no track record of deviance or chicanery or anything else. So it's a clean slate with him. And so, of course, he gets the benefit of the doubt. For that reason, A, and B, he's not a Patriot. Any Patriot, anything that touches that occurs with the Patriots, somebody you're going to be suspicious. People are going to be suspicious. That's the way it's going to be till the end of time. And so naturally, people here are defensive and upset. And they're right. Peyton's going to get off in the public eye a lot easier than Tom Brady ever did. But guess what? That's part of the problem. That's the problem that Bill Belichick has brought on the Patriots for forever.
Paul Burmeister and Ross Tucker sitting in for Dan Patrick this morning, talking to the legendary Bob Ryan of the Boston Globe. I'd love to hear your take on the Chip Kelly situation, because I know how closely you followed the NFL for years, and also with what you're used to there with covering Bill Belichick, you have a coach with a lot of control who doesn't care a whole lot about the kind of personality and the warmth he presents to the media, to the public. Chip Kelly, kind of the same type of attitude, maybe the same kind of control, and it didn't work for him. Your thoughts on his firing?
Well, it seldom works. This is one thing it's been proven historically that it seldom works when the power is bestowed on someone. Mike Holmgren was an example of a colossal failure, which people are starting to see into history now. But go look it up and see that Mike Holmgren thought he was going to be the big cheese in Seattle, and that did not work out too well. I'll give you the best historical parallel, but it's a cross-sport reference. This is the Rick Pitino story all over again. If you buy into the idea that the major reason for Kelly's demise is his general managing rather than his coaching, this is exactly what the Rick Pitino thing was with the Patriots, with the Celtics. He wasn't a bad coach, but he was done in by his own general manager, who happened to be himself. He had no judgment. He was really strangely, curiously, a bad judge of NBA talent. He really was, and that's what happened with him. Now, we have an extra other layer going on here with Kelly. Okay, it's not just about that. Clearly, there's a personality, communication, stylistic issue, and there may even be, I have to pick my words carefully here, as we all do in these matters, there may even be a race issue. I mean, there are, I heard it reiterated again this morning by the well-known Mr. Stephen A. Smith, that he insists that he was told directly to his face and to his own ears and his own lips, looking directly in the eyes of the people who told him that Chip Kelly doesn't know how to handle or doesn't deal well with us. Well, us means African Americans. I don't know if it's true. You don't know if it's true, but there's clearly other things going on with the Eagles rather than just the sheer talent misjudgment. So it's a more complicated thing than simply saying it was his own general manager. It was the whole combination of things. But it doesn't speak well for him, and I don't understand how he's going to get another. I can't imagine how any of this qualifies him for another NBA and NFL job in the near future. I mean, do you? I don't see it. I think he goes right back to college, and they'll line up for him there. I don't doubt that.
Sure, and it's all a matter of how you look at it. I mean, some people say he was innovative. He had a lot of fresh ideas, and they point to the back-to-back 10-win seasons and think that he'll have multiple suitors. Others, and I kind of tend to believe what you say or think the way you say, all of these attitudes coming out about him as the total package could lead somebody to think, you know what, we don't want that inside our building. So it'll be interesting to follow up on that and see where it goes.
There are other things, practice, preparation, the whole package that he presented, as you say,
right.
As a coach. You know, with coaching, it's very simple if you know how to do it, which is this. Do they buy what you sell? Are they going to buy what you sell? And the ultimate proof is if you get proper results. This is why Belichick has been successful for 15 years, is that he was able to prove after 1 year, one year to get himself going, that there was something worth selling, and they bought it. And now it's 15 years later, and they've won, and they win 10 games every year, and they win 12 games more often than not, and they get a first seed 6 years in a row. I mean, they get a bye 6 years in a row, and they win 4 Super Bowls, and on and on. They buy what he's selling. He's not charming. There won't be any Christmas cards. He won't be invited to the weddings or the christenings. That's not the deal. But they respect the hell out of him. And some guys have left here disliking him intensely. There's no question. But there would always be that grudging respect. Yeah, he may be a bastard, but he knows what he's doing, that kind of thing. But you're not going to hear that about people with Chip Kelly.
You told me you were watching your words a couple minutes ago, Bob.
I know. I think that one will get through.
Well, bottom line with the Patriots, to follow up on what you just said, if they beat the Dolphins this weekend, they'll be invited to have that number 1 seed in a bye week and to get healthy, which, as you have pointed out and written in the Boston Globe, they really need that. Bob Ryan, thank you very much for your thoughts.
Hey, thanks for having me. That's fun. Bye-bye.